Hello and welcome to this segment on keyword utilization. Now these next two segments, this one and the next one on self-talk, will focus primarily on the perform-respond phase of the performance cycle. So keyword utilization, what is it? It's essentially the use of an action, motivational, or instructional word to help increase mid-performance focus, motivation, or resilience. It's a really good refocusing tool when overly distracted with those competing thoughts or unhealthy, unproductive feelings we're experiencing that lead to self-defeating or catastrophic thinking due to past experiences, right? And we're having this catastrophic thinking and these competing feelings in the moment of performance. That said, keyword utilization can be either instructional in an effort to coincide with instructional self-talk, which I'll talk about in the next segment, as well as some sort of technical or behavioral component to that performance. It can also be motivational or meaningful, such as an important place, person, or event in your life that helps to increase that confidence or that resilience that's needed to get through that trying time, that chaotic environment, and so on, okay? So why is keyword utilization so important? Well, for one, it helps to maintain focus on the task at hand and can serve as a source of confidence and calm. So here's where we're looking to achieve that calm alert state in the midst of performance and maintain that confidence and that focus. When we're in that perform respond phase of the performance cycle, we're locked into a mini cycle of regroup, refocus, and respond. And so in an effort to maintain adequate engagement with that mini cycle, keyword utilization helps us to maintain that focus and helps us to maintain an optimal zone of functioning. This is because our minds cannot simultaneously think of two things at once. And I mentioned this in the thought acceptance segment that as we're in the midst of performance, we're going to have thoughts that we are fighting or judging and thinking we shouldn't be having, as well as we're going to be locked in this battle of trying to focus at the same time on the relevant tasks at hand, on the relevant performance cues that allow for optimal performance. And so as we're trying to engage two battles on two fronts, we're going to be less aware of the increase in our activation levels, our anxiety, our stress, and our pressure. And the less aware we are of this because of that mental battle we're locked in, these levels are going to continue to increase. And we're going to be sitting on this opposite end of the performance curve here, where our performance is now degraded, and what we're doing is now we're muscling through performance rather than effectively and efficiently moving back down to that optimal zone of functioning, okay? And so the use of a keyword essentially breaks that cycle of unproductive thinking. It also serves as a reminder of what to do. So here's where we're getting into that instructional, technical, or behavioral component of performance. It can serve as a trigger or activating thing towards appropriate performance response. Lastly, it can enhance our resilience. And it does this by serving as a reminder of something that allows us to be strong in the face of adversity or in the midst of chaotic environments. Okay, so how do we create and develop a keyword? How do you develop your keyword? Well, I'm going to take you through 4 steps here that you can walk through that help you to flush out something that is specific and meaningful to you. So one of the first things you want to do is reflect on non-threatening past performance, okay? And as you're reflecting on this non-threatening past performance, think about the aspects of that performance that are needed to engage upon so that that performance is optimal. And as you're thinking about that, think about where does your focus need to be as you perform. Here's where we're starting to identify some of those key and critical elements of optimal performance. So our keyword, as we utilize it, directs us towards those appropriate aspects and components and triggers that appropriate performance response. Create a keyword that defines where that focus needs to be and those aspects as I just mentioned. Now, what you want to do as you define that keyword, such as self-talk related or behavioral related, for example, move your feet, or I can do this. Here's where we're getting into that instructional or that more self-talk related cue word, or behavioral, such as, communicate, hold your head high, breathe. Here's behavioral components that snap us out of unproductive cycles of thinking. What you want to do, as I highlighted in those examples, you want to make it simple. Okay, so it's a simple one word or a simple, really, really short phrase. We're looking 2 to 3 words at most here, okay? Make it simple. Lastly, what you want to do is then you want to practice that cue word consistently. The goal is to make this cue word a habit as your kind of automatic go-to as soon as you start to feel stressed or notice that you are engaging in fighting thoughts, judging thoughts or feelings, and locked in this battle of catastrophic thinking. Now, here's where it's so important to develop that mindfulness living and that mindfulness practice, because it allows for that meta awareness to notice, hey, I'm cognitively somewhere or mentally somewhere where I don't need to be, when I need to be engaged on the relevant tasks at hand and experience in the present moment. Okay, so here's keyword utilization. Think about developing something that is specific and meaningful to you as you work through these roughly 4 steps that I just laid out for you. And also think about where you can implement this cue word into your life consistently, intentionally, and daily. Okay, let's dig in.